First of all, hi and good morning. My name is Rachel Tisseuil. I'm working for DNDi, which stands for Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative. I started about 5 years ago in the organization, and I'm an external relation manager, part of the external relation team. So we are a global team of currently 17 persons based in different corners of the world, in Switzerland, of course, where the headquarters of the organization is located, but I also have colleagues in Japan, Brazil, and other countries. So we have a common objective is to develop, implement, and manage activities to contribute to the financial sustainability of the organization. So for our next business plan that is covering the period 2021 to 2028, we have the common goal of raising more than 600 million euros. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. And personally, I have responsibility to help secure funding, public funding from France, Switzerland, Japan, and Korea. So DNDi is a not-for-profit research organization developing new treatments for neglected populations. So we've been created out of the frustration of clinicians and desperation of patients faced with medicines that were ineffective or either unavailable, toxic, or simply just not have been developed at all. So how were we set up? In fact, in 1999, Doctors Without Border won a Peace Nobel Prize, and they decided to use a part of that award to create a new initiative and explore a way to develop drugs for neglected patients. So in 2003, Doctors Without Border, together with the WHO, but also 5 international research institutions, mainly drawn from the public sectors in endemic countries, decided to team up to launch the initiative. So maybe at this stage, I should maybe just say a few words on neglected tropical diseases, because this is the core of our mission. So we call it NTDs, and currently the whole WHO maintains a list of 20 NTDs. Some of them have very complicated names to say, but one that is quite well known from the public is the sleeping sickness that is caused by the bite of a tsetse fly. So although these diseases, they represent the global burden of diseases is about 12%, yet they attract only 1% of new medicines developed per every year. So for DNDi, we try to help reduce this vacuum and sort of discover, develop, and deliver treatment for these neglected populations. So we make sure that those treatments are affordable once they reach the patients. We make sure that they are patient-friendly and that they are adapted to the conditions, the settings of the locations where the disease prevail. They are plentiful along the road. I think that probably the most complicated challenge is just inherent to our field of work. Drug development is a very challenging realm. There is a high risk of failure, especially at the early stage of development. But we also have challenges in terms of the disease on which we work. So even though if it's grouped under a common group of disease under WHO, each disease has its own challenge and comes with different implementations problem. So it's too long to develop here, but this is really the case for each of the disease we work on. And I think that also looking into the countries where we work, we have a lot of challenges in terms of the infrastructure. So we have to make sure that the wards, the labs, but also all the research where we run clinical trials are upgraded to meet international standards. You need to be sure that the staff is well trained so that they also meet international standards in the way they conduct research. It's most of the countries also where we work, the political instability is just inherent in the country. So you have also to continue working without disruption as much as possible. So this is just to name a few of the issues we face on our day-to-day job. So I mentioned already sleeping sickness as one of the diseases the general public knows quite well. And this disease is really, you find it a lot in sub-Saharan African countries. If you are not diagnosed promptly or treated promptly, the disease is usually fatal, because the parasites is going to invade your nervous central system, and it's going to cause a range of neurological changes that will lead you to coma and then death. So currently, the WHO estimates that around 8.5 million people are living at moderate to very high risk of contracting the disease. So it's a lot of people. And when we were created, DNDi already wanted to really focus on these diseases and on this disease. And at that time, the treatments were very, very complex to administer, and they came with considerable side effects. So before 2009, you had mainly two treatments. One was called eflornithine, and it was basically uh, 56 intravenous infusions that you had to endure during 14 days of hospitalization. So you had to stay 14 days in hospital. It was very painful. And also in terms of the delivery, it came into very heavy big boxes. So it was 20 kilo for two treatment course. And when you have to go in countries like Central Africa or RDC, that are countries very difficult to access, either the patients are in very remote villages, there's no road, etc. It was just a nightmare to get these medicines there. So there was also another medicine called melarsoprol, which was also something that you had to be injected via intravenous infusions, and it was so painful from the patients that they used to call it fire in the veins. It was also an arsenic-based drug, so very toxic. And in fact, one patient out of 20 were dying because of the treatment. So you were not even, the treatment was basically killing them rather than curing them. So we decided that something had to be done. It couldn't continue like that. And so in 2009, we managed to deliver a combination therapy where you would be for 10 days under treatment. You would get pills, but at the same time intravenous infusions. So we managed to reduce them from 56 to 14. It was better. It was working well, but it was still not ideal. So we continued our research, and finally, end of 2018, we managed to register and deliver the first all-oral treatment called fexinidazole. So it's basically 10 days treatment, pills for 10 days, and then you are cured, and it's very safe treatment. So this has been a massive game changer. And just to give you an idea, to register this drug, we've screened more than 2 million people in countries. We enrolled close to 1,000 patients in 4 different countries in more than across 10 sites. So we worked in RDC, Central African Republic, and Guinea, to name just a few of them. So it's a lot. It was a massive challenge, but we've been very happy with the development. But still, we are not finishing. We're still working on another compound, a new drug called acoziborole. It's a single oral dose treatment. So instead of 10 days, just 3 pills you take one day and you are cured. So it's a revolutionary treatment that I hope will be available to patients in 2022. And we're working really closely with the WHO because we believe that this treatment could really help achieve a sustained elimination of the disease. So just a last word, I think I'd like really to thank Switzerland and obviously the Swiss Development Cooperation, because they've been following our work since 2005, and they've been contributing to our work. So they're also a big part of our success.